The big NFL news trending around today is that four-time NFL MVP Aaron Rodgers has emerged from his darkness retreat early. So I figured let's take an inside look to see what Rodgers was dealing with over the last 2 days. Raider Nation, what's going on? You're watching the Raiders Report here in the dark inside where Aaron Rodgers spent his darkness retreat over the past few days. So coming up here on today's show, we're going to talk to you about everything that you need to know, and we're going to show you literally exactly where he was standing. Then the Rodgers 2023 odds. We're going to tell you why exactly he decided to come out a little bit early. So the latest news going on right now with Rodgers is he completed his darkness retreat at Sky Cave on Wednesday. Scott Berman owns the facility on hundreds of acres of land, which is located in forested land in southern Oregon. We know that Aaron Rodgers is a bit of an outdoorsman. We know that he does things that are, let's face it, a little bit different than the conventional person. And I also, when I saw that this darkness retreat was located in Oregon, I sat there and I was like, of course it is. So here's what Chris Berman had to say on the room that Rodgers was in. The room in which Rodgers spent his time is a partially underground, hobbit-like structure with 300 square feet of space, devoid of light, with a queen bed, a bathroom, a meditation-like mat on the floor. It is fully powered, so at any point, the lights can be turned on from inside of the room. Now, when I got all of this information, I did want to show people at least some of the other scenes that you can see if you are here at the Darkness Retreat. And obviously, since I'm in here and it's super pitch black, it's difficult to see the outside. This is what the room looks like. If you were to turn on the room, you can see there's a nice little tub over there. The meditation mat that Rodgers probably thought, yeah, I want to go to the Raiders. Then also you see a little bit better view there of the bed. Overall, though, I saw this entire story come out, and my biggest question that I have to any single person that comes across this video today is this. Would you ever do a darkness retreat? This is going to be the pinned comment on today's show, which means every single person that watches this show, I want to know, would you either do it, yes, or no? You're going to get hit with that YouTube ad break, so scroll on down and let me know. Would you ever do a darkness retreat? My opinion on this is I am somebody that will never say no unless I like to try it. Like, I would at least give it a try. If I thought that this potentially could help me out with my work, if it could help me out mentally, if it could help me out in any way, shape, or form, maybe even with my love life, with relationship. Hell, I believe Chuck would love something like this. I would at least give it a try. So when you continue to hear about all of these darkness retreats out there, it is extremely, extremely interesting. If there is one thing that I know, though, the biggest news that's probably going to come out of this and how it impacts the Las Vegas Raiders is this is a domino, and the way that the NFL works is dominoes time and time again. So when you see that Aaron Rodgers is now out of the darkness retreat, I'm ready. When we're out, we know for a fact that, hey, a lot of stuff can happen. Rodgers said that you should be curious, not judgmental. We're all on our own path, and doing things like this helps me find a greater sense of peace, love for life, love and respect to you. That's what Aaron Rodgers put out there on social media after Mitchell Schwartz, kind of made fun of him a little bit. But guess who liked this tweet? Davante Adams. So guess what? If Davante Adams is on board, then I'm going to be on board as well. Coming up next here is going to be the latest Aaron Rodgers 2023 odds in terms of where exactly he's going to be playing football next season, because I know I'm curious about it, and now that we got new odds that he's out of the darkness retreat, I think a lot of people should be interested in seeing it. Now, if you want daily videos around the Las Vegas Raiders, I want you to hit that subscribe button. And when I look at the way that this league works, it is a domino type of league. And what do I mean by that? Aaron Rodgers coming out of the retreat is the first domino. If I was Derek Carr, I would want to know where I'm going to be playing football before Rodgers decides, because that could actually really hinder where he's going to go. So now that the dominoes are starting to fall, you better subscribe, you better turn on those notifications, because I think one of the biggest reasons why Rodgers left the retreat early He knows what he wants to do. So when you look at here now, the latest odds around Rodgers, the Raiders are still the favorites at minus 200. The New York Jets sit there at plus 150. Green Bay Packers at plus 250. And then there's a huge, and I mean a huge drop-off from the Indianapolis Colts at plus 1,500. The Commanders at plus 1,800. I will also note that the latest odds, the Raiders 2 weeks ago were minus 500. Then it went to 350. Then it went to 300. So now we're at minus 200, which tells me that only Rodgers knows what he's going to do. And I think that's the biggest truth in this, because a lot of times when you see odds out there, people know things. Sources talk. Rodgers has already made it very clear that only people inside of his inner circle truly know what's going on, and they're not going to reveal what's actually going to happen. So when Rodgers makes up his mind, that's when you're really going to know ultimately what happens. So coming up next here on the Raiders Report, why Rodgers decided to emerge out of his darkness retreat at least a little bit early. And you see probably down there, it's because it's not confirmed. I have 3 educated guesses on why he decided to emerge 2 days early. First one, he thought it was 4 days. I actually know somebody very close to me that lived in Oregon and has done a darkness retreat, and I talked to them about this a week ago once I found out Rodgers was doing this, and they straight up told me, when you're in an isolated room like this, time does not exist, and you have no idea how long you've been down there. So what if he was just like, all right, 4 days is up, let's come out here. I will also admit I cannot confirm whether or not he saw his shadow. I do know, though, for a fact that winter is 25 days away. What if Rodgers got word that Jeff Darlington, what if he got word that the report that Darlington put out yesterday was a lie? I do know one thing that Rodgers does not like, and he does not like when people spread false truths about him, and he is not afraid whatsoever to tell somebody, hey, I'm calling you out, because that's not actually what happened. If you didn't know, Darlington yesterday had a report that came out and said a very important source says that Rodgers will be on the Packers in 2023. If he caught wind of that and didn't like it, I mean, we already know he said that he's good friends with Schefter and Rappaport, but he already said that those two guys have no idea what is going on with me. And if that's what he heard and that upset him, I don't know what Rodgers is thinking. Nobody knows what Rodgers is thinking. But would it surprise anybody if he was like, oh, that's what he said? All right, let's get this thing rocking and rolling. Before I show you my final reason, and the most important reason why I believe Aaron Rodgers came out of his darkness retreat 2 days early, my question to you is, why do you think that he did it? I mean, there's always a rhyme or a reason. I do believe that Rodgers is the type of dude that when he sets his mind to something, he's going to do it. So the fact that he was down there for 2 days, which credit to him, I don't know if I'd be able to do it. I'd be willing to try, but credit to him. But he came out of it 2 days early. Went in Monday, came out Wednesday. What do you think? What was the reason why he decided to leave the darkness retreat 2 days early? The biggest reason is this. I think he made up his mind. I believe the biggest reason why Rodgers decided to do the darkness retreat is because it was a way that he found peace. It was a way that he could collect his thoughts and that he could reflect on his future. I mean, that's been reported by multiple people, and multiple people who I have talked to that are close to at least this situation. My friend who's also done a darkness retreat, she told me, guess what? That's why she did it too. So if he had went down there with the mindset of, all right, I got to gather my thoughts. I got to think about where I'm going to go with my future. What if he has this decision? What if he knows where he wants to do with his future? If he's like, hey, I want to be a Raider. Hey, I want to be a Green Bay Packer. Or what if he wants to retire? All of those things are absolutely a possibility. He could decide to go to the New York Jets. Nobody knows what Rodgers is going to do, but when we do get an answer on figuring out what exactly he wants to do and when he wants to do it, I promise you this, we will keep you up to date. But I think the biggest reason why he came out of the darkness retreat early is because he does truly know his future. So, with all of that being said, I'm going to be real with y'all. I'm a little bit afraid of the dark, and I think it's just about time for me to get out of this retreat. It was a lot of fun. I greatly enjoyed my time doing it. So, it's time to head out of the darkness retreat right now and keep this show going here on the Raiders Report. Before I wrap up this bad boy, I want to know from every single person out there watching, where is Rodgers going to be playing football this upcoming season? Do you have any ideas whatsoever? Is it going to be with the Raiders? Is it going to be with the Green Bay Packers? Is it going to be somebody else? I don't know, Tennessee. Could it be Indy? Could it be the New York Jets? Where will Aaron Rodgers be playing football? Now, before I wrap a bow on today's show, we did get an update while I was down in the dark hole. Dov Kleiman said Packers quarterback Aaron Rodgers basically has veto power over any trade destination due to his contract and retirement threat. That is according to Tom Pelissero. Rodgers doesn't officially have a no-trade clause in his deal, but still holds the same type of power if the Packers want to trade him. So yes, he does not have the no-trade clause. But remember how much power Derek Carr had over the Raiders. Rodgers has the same power here, and the reason goes back to the contract. Because if Aaron Rodgers decides to retire, the Green Bay Packers are on the hook for, I believe, somewhere around $50 million. That's not what Green Bay wants to happen. If Rodgers says, and if you hop into your time machine, go back 2.5 weeks ago, I was told by a source that somebody told me, who I do trust very close, and said Rodgers wants to be a Raider. And Rodgers will either say, trade me to the Raiders, or I'm going to retire. If that's what Rodgers says to Green Bay, they can't chip him off to the Jets. They're not going to end up keeping him. I really, truly believe that Green Bay is ready to move forward with Jordan Love, and that he wants to be a Raider. It's just, do the Raiders still want Aaron Rodgers? A lot of questions, a lot of answers that we will not know, but hopefully coming up soon, Rodgers makes his decision on where he's going to be playing football in 2023.